Hey, what's up, guys? I'm BTC. Blizzard just added a large patch to the Overwatch PTR that made some pretty extreme changes to a bunch of characters. Now, normally I would go over these patch notes myself, but today I actually have a special guest. It's a friend of mine that I've been playing Overwatch with for a while. I used to play with him in CSGO as well. He is one of the best Overwatch players in the world. Prior to the competitive ladder season on Master Overwatch, he was ranked number 1 for both McCree and Soldier 76. During Season 1, he was in the top 500. Actually, he was in the top 50. And for Season 2, he managed to win all 10 of his placement matches and get put into Masters bracket right out of the placement matches. He goes by the name Skillkapped, and I'm going to put his information down in the description of the video below if you want to go and check him out. So he is an extremely good Overwatch player, and he's going to give me his insight as to the changes that have been made on the PTR. In the PTR notes, Blizzard did put a little bit of a disclaimer. Let me read that to you real quick. It says, "We're currently experimenting with a number of significant hero changes. We don't typically have the time to try multiple configurations to our hero balance composition, but the extended length of this PTR gives us a unique opportunity. Throughout the PTR, we'll be continuously adjusting our hero's stats, which will provide valuable data needed to make some tough decisions. None of these changes should be considered final, and will continue to update this post as the PTR progresses. Please feel free to provide feedback throughout this test. We're looking forward to hearing what you think." So basically what Blizzard likes to do is they will make a change in kind of an extreme way, and then as the testing goes on, they just start walking back their change a little bit. So if they boost the character's damage by 10 at the very beginning, and it's too much, they'll start slowly walking it down. Maybe it'll go to 8, or +5, or +3, and they try to find the area where it is best gonna be at. So let's get into the actual changes themselves. Alright, so for hero balance changes in the general section, dealing damage to non-players like Torbjorn's turrets or Symmetra's teleporter no longer charges ultimate abilities. This is totally non-issue. That's not going to change anything. However, the next one is pretty huge. Ultimate costs have been increased by 25% for all heroes.
Yeah, so this is going to be a huge change. This completely slows down the game. Attacking teams are going to have a much harder time getting onto the defensive point, and the defense is actually going to have an easier time because they don't need the ultimates until the enemy team has their ultimates. And who's going to build it faster? The defensive team, because they have an advantage overall. So I don't know what Blizzard is doing with this. They're trying to slow the game down just a little tiny bit. It might be too much. It might be too little. Let's see what direction they're going to take in the future, huh?
Well, this means that the attacking team are going to have to make more intentionally failing attempts to capture the point, correct?
Yeah, so they're going to have to bum rush in and try to take the point. The chances of them doing it is very slim, so they're most likely just going to fail over and over and over until they finally have their ultimates.
Alright, so next up is the actual characters. D.Va mech health increased to 200. Formerly it was 100. Armor remains at 400, so this is written kind of weird. Basically, she got an extra 100 white health, which takes her total up to 600. 200 white and 400 armor. Also, her movement speed while firing has been increased by 25%.
So D.Va is going to see much more play than she did before. Even though she already saw a bunch of play, she's going to be almost a required pick with this extra 100 health. In addition, just because D.Va has more HP overall, you're going to see only McCree's from now on as your hit scan, because Soldier does less damage to armor than McCree does. The movement speed while firing has been increased by 25%. So this is not really a huge change. It's more of a quality of life change. So basically, you're still going to be wanting to use your defense matrix on cooldown, and firing is going to be a secondary thing still. But maybe you get to finish off your target a little bit quicker, or before they escape.
Does this health and movement speed increase make her a replacement for, let's say, Reinhardt?
At this point, Diva was used as a replacement for Reinhardt in the past from several teams. Now I think she'll be a safe pick to replace Reinhardt, or maybe you can use both.
All right, so next up, talking about Soldier 76, for his pulse rifle, bullet damage was increased from 17 to 20, and maximum bullet spread was increased from 2.2 to 2.4.
So the bullet damage increase is extremely negligible. You won't see any difference whatsoever, and it'll only yield to a slight DPS increase at the end of a game. This is not going to affect his time to kill in any way, which is his biggest issue that a lot of people have been complaining about. In addition, they increased the bullet spread, which I don't understand why they would go for a change like this. What's going to happen now is you're never going to be able to hold down left click. You're going to be missing shots left and right if you do. So you're going to have to go back to playing the burst playstyle that we saw a few months back. But even if you do play Soldier 76 for whatever reason, the ultimate cost was increased. So he's kind of in the trash can for right now.
Yeah, one of his main strategies with Soldier 76 was to just use your Helix on cooldown and try to get as many headshots as possible. Build your ult as fast as you possibly can and then burn it, which was his major source of damage. But now, since the ultimate is going to take a lot longer to build, like he basically loses that ability. But it doesn't matter anyways, because McCree is still a better pick in nearly every situation. All right, so Ana, for some reason, I don't know, maybe Blizzard just hates Grandma, but Ana got yet another nerf. Last patch, she got nerfed with her Nano Boost. It cost more, so she still has that, but now Nano Boost no longer increases move speed, which is actually a lot more important than people would think. Skill?
Yeah, so the Nano Boost increases damage and your tankiness as well as your move speed. Well, not anymore. A popular strategy was to have Ana and Reinhardt play together, and then Ana would build her ult and blow it on Reinhardt. Reinhardt would charge in and just cause havoc, one shot at people left and right. Well, now he's not going to be able to do that anymore. As soon as Nano Boost goes onto Reinhardt, everyone is going to be trying to crowd control the Reinhardt. They're going to be putting him to sleep. They're going to freeze him. They're going to stun him. He won't be able to touch anyone because he's still moving the same turtle speed that he was before. So you're going to have to use the Nano Boost on a ranged character. And since, even though it's a good ultimate in combination with Soldier's ultimate, no one's going to play Soldier still. So you're going to have to cast it on your McCree and hope that he's a good shot so that he can actually make use of it.
This is also going to further harm the whole 3 tank, 3 support meta that people were trying to get to work. And it was damaged quite a bit when they nerfed Ana the first time by making the Nano Boost take a little bit longer to charge. And now that it no longer buffs the move speed, comboing it with Reinhardt, again, like Skill said, means that he's going to be very easy to just... you don't even have to sleep him. You can basically just kite him, because if he's moving at the same regular speed, then someone who's playing McCree or Reaper or whoever, like, they can just run away and just keep shooting him, and he'll never get within range. And also for using it on, like, Roadhog, one of the huge bonuses to using it on Roadhog was when Roadhog would use his ultimate, he could basically just, like, street sweep an entire area, and he would move very quickly. But now that he doesn't get that movement speed, he's still going to be moving slow as a turtle, as Skill said. So I don't know. Ana was starting to be popular, and with these changes, it looks like she's probably going to basically fall off the map, and they're going to be she's going to be much lower priority than the other the supports. So next up is Mei. Mei's Blizzard ultimate cost has been increased by 15%. This is in addition to the 25% that everybody else got. Also, it might be an undocumented change or it could be a bug, but Mei, her ultimate seems to activate a lot faster. Before, when you would throw it, it would, the little robot would spin around for a bit and then everybody would scatter and then the freezing field would come up. But now when you throw it, it's almost instant that the freezing field comes up. So it doesn't really allow the enemy to run away as much. So with this change and her current standing, like, what are your thoughts?
So Mei, after this patch, will be completely unplayable. Now, currently, she is actually in an okay spot. She's been seeing competitive play in all brackets and has even been played a few times by some professional players in tournaments. Her ultimate itself is extremely powerful if used correctly. However, due to the soon-to-be rise of more D.Va players and this nerf, Mei will never see play, because if you pick her, you're going to need to land that ult every single time, and it needs to be on all the enemy players, or it's simply not going to be worth to play her right now.
With all the extra D.Va players that are going to be popping up, basically, it's going to make D.Va even more wanted. If the enemy team does have a Mei for some crazy reason, then it makes a D.Va pick, which is already a very, very good pick, that much better, because unlike the other tanks and what have you that have barriers and stuff, with D.Va, she can completely destroy ultimates like Mei and Hanzo and Zarya. So if Mei takes a very long time to build her ult, basically the enemy D.Va player is going to be watching that Mei and just waiting for her to try to use the ult. And as soon as she throws that little robot out to Blizzard an area, D.Va's going to defense matrix, going to destroy it, and it's just it. So Mei just waited, however long to build that ult for nothing. Like, it will do absolutely nothing because it won't even fire off. So I don't know why they did this. I can only imagine that Mei was causing problems in the lower in average skill brackets, but this just seems way too big of a nerf. Next up is Lucio. His Amp It Up healing per second has been decreased by 10%, and this is actually not that big of a deal. Skill, explain why?
Sure. So Amp It Up in higher levels of play is only used for the speed factor and not for the healing one. Lucios just keep their shift on the healing, just building their ultimate, and when they need to amp it up, they always switch to speed. The movement from the Amp It Up is way stronger than the healing per second that Lucio's Amp It Up provides, simply because it helps you dodge more shots, as well as, his healing per second with the Amp It Up isn't that great to begin with.
So one of the things that a lot of the lower and average skill Lucio players do is they basically leave it on healing all the time. But as Skill said, the higher level competitive players use the speed boost most, if not all the time, because it doesn't just allow you to move from your spawn to the capture point. It allows you to burst into a point. Like in tournaments and such, you'll see the attacking team basically hide around a corner, and then the Lucio will speed boost and ult, and the entire attacking team just rushes the point, and they try to do it in a surprise way to catch the defenders off guard. But the other thing is, Skill, maybe you can elaborate. Basically, when you're training to aim at somebody, how does the movement increase mess with that?
Sure. So if you play a certain game over time, let's take a look. Let's say you're playing McCree and that you're just practicing on bots, right? So you're practicing on these bots and you're trying to learn their movement patterns and the way that they walk and the speed that they walk. All of a sudden, you go into a game and Lucio amps it up for speed. Everything is moving completely different. They're jumping around all over the place. It is a nightmare to hit a target, even as a hit scan. If you're playing projectile, good luck. If you're playing hit scan, good luck. It's that much harder to hit a target that's moving way faster because you simply have no point of reference for it. So, uh, not only does it help you get to your target location faster, but it also makes you pretty hard to hit.
All right, next up is Zarya, a particle barrier and the projected barrier. Power gained from these barriers decreased by 20%. Does this even matter?
This really doesn't matter. It's going to take you 3 barriers of, being completely destroyed in order to get you to 100% charge. Now, this itself doesn't matter because usually at the start of the game, you're building this just by taking poke damage. The only thing that's important is keeping the charge at 100%, which is very simple to do because they didn't affect that in any way. They didn't nerf any of that. And basically, what they're trying to do is make Zarya weaker damage-wise, but this is not the answer. It doesn't do anything but take a little bit extra time, and she's literally going to do the same amount of damage as before. This literally has no effect on anything.
All right, next and last character that's been changed is Torbjorn, who doesn't really see much play in the higher end. So he had a bunch of stuff. Scrap is now automatically generated over time. The amount of scrap collected from a fallen enemy has been decreased by 40%. Forge Hammer, swing speed increased by 25%, and damage decreased by 27%. So is Torb going to be must pick in tournaments from now on?
No, actually. In fact, I think Torb has a less than 1% pick rate in higher level play. But if you were a Torb player before, then you're going to enjoy him now because he did get buffed a little tiny bit. Scrap is now automatically generated over time. Now, that's important because currently on the PTR, at the start of the game, the minute you pick Torbjorn, you start generating scrap. That means as soon as the game actually starts, you already have armor placed out for several teammates. So that can help you there. If you're trying to use this to cheese a little bit, he's only going to be picked at the very start of each round for that factor. But the minute you die, you're going to want to switch off of him. Unless you're a Torbjorn main, in which case, then, I don't know how you're going to get to Grandmaster. But hey, Torb. Attack Torb, that's the way to go.
So basically the main problem with Torb, which this doesn't really address, is the fact that his primary source of damage is the turret, and the reason why it's not viable is because the turret doesn't move and it's very easy to counter, correct?
Yeah, it's stationary. Nobody's going to miss a shot on it. It's going to be a 100% chance to hit the shot on that thing. And since it's doing the majority of his damage, he's kind of just a sitting duck. I guess you can throw scrap out more, more armor, but I don't know how much that's going to help you.
All right, well, that's all of the hero changes. Skill, thank you very much for giving your input. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, if you want to check out Skillkapped, his information is going to be in the description of this video down below. But that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe because there's lots more Overwatch coming. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.